Day 2 is wrapped up at the world's most controversial golf series. Ousted PGA Tour golfer Charles Schwartzel leading by 3 today at the LIV Golf Tour, placing him in favor to claim round 1's $4 million purse. Critics, though, are concerned with the financial arm of the tour. Saudi Arabia, which has a laundry list of human rights violations, including the assassination of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. So let's welcome back our Rush Hour Roundtable for the topic. Our big question panel: do U.S. athletes have an obligation to put patriotism and morals over profits and stand up to human rights abuses? Megan, we'll start with you.
You know, I absolutely feel like they do. This is one of those things. I'm a conservative, I'm a free market person, but I look at this and I go, we're talking about some very serious abuses here in Saudi Arabia. And we understand that part of what Saudi Arabia is doing here is trying to present themselves as just another nation. They are trying to make some moves here to push under the rug what happened with Jamal Khashoggi. They are trying to get the world to see them in a different way. And as we look at Russia, we know how really dangerous that can be to sort of welcome people back into the fold. And particularly when we look at this situation, you go, this is a bit of leverage that we have. And it's really disappointing to me to see some golfers choose their pocketbooks over their patriotism.
Yeah, no athlete should do this, but they don't have any obligation not to. I think this is down to the individual's, moral guidance. I, of course, would not do this. I do think that people who automatically say, oh, I would turn down a $100 million deal for something, I think people who automatically throw that out are being a little bit disingenuous, because it would at least give us a little bit of a pause. They should clearly side with patriotism. At the end of the day, I'm not going to pretend that what's going on between LIV and the PGA Tour has anything to do with the morals here. I think very clearly it has to do with the new competition, which is why the PGA is getting a little bit ticked off. I mean, I love that we're having this conversation. I wish we would have a bigger conversation about this in this country, particularly with the NBA and China, which a lot of folks who are outraged right now with Saudi Arabia has been pretty quiet about what's going on with China. And I think we know that is due entirely to the money. Well, yeah, and Jason, speaking of that, the NBA's ties to China, we have the NFL's ties to China, we have NBA's ties to Rwanda, so it certainly is not something new.
Should give money to Reporters Without Borders. How about that? Because Phil Mickelson kicked a reporter out of his news conference, so it looks like he's kind of doing just what the Saudis do. And if you're the family of Jamal Khashoggi and you see this guy smiling and putting his thumbs up to the kind of play that he's doing, well, he should know, and I hope he's read the case, that Jamal Khashoggi was kidnapped, thrown in the back of a car, taken to an interrogation, for several days at least interrogated, murdered, and then his body was cut up into little bits. That is what happened, and it was at the behest of the Saudi regime. So let's just be real clear about the people who are running this shiny little, this golf league. And if you're going to be a part of that, of course you've got the right to do it. But then you also, as Megan said, you have the right to be shunned by people like me on shows like this. And you have the right to be shunned by the Khashoggi family, as he should be.
Capri, before you answer, I want to, because Ashley just referenced the fact that Mickelson kicked out a reporter from a press conference. So we do have some sound from a reporter grilling golfers about where they would be willing to play, and if there was anywhere in the world that they would not play. Let's listen to that.
If Vladimir Putin had a tournament, would you play there?
That's speculation. Not even going to comment on speculation.
So just in a generality, is there anywhere you wouldn't play on a moral basis? If the money was right, is there anywhere you wouldn't play?
I don't need to answer that question.
All right, so, and that's really just a snippet from there, because that reporter definitely kept grilling those golfers. All right, Capri, we want to hear what you have to say.
Number one, that reporter had every right to ask those questions, and they are the right questions to ask. And the fact that he's sitting there saying, well, it's speculation. I just don't know. I'm not going to answer this question. If that's the case, then guess what? The answer is yes. You clearly are putting your dollar above, any kind of moral integrity, values surrounding human rights violations. I mean, we all know what Vladimir Putin is capable of. You don't really need to speculate on whether or not he decides he's going to host a sporting event if you're going to participate in it. There's something about soft diplomacy, right? And that's where, sports has always played this role of soft diplomacy. And when Americans or anyone is participating, we see this obviously in the Olympics, but we see it in other places. And now we're seeing it unfold here. It sends a message, and it sends a message that people pay attention to, because the American public and the global public, for that matter, they pay attention to celebrity. Do I feel like I wish we would spend less time talking about celebrity? Yes. But the bottom line is, we're obviously all talking about it. People are paying attention. They have an opportunity to say, no, I'm not going to do this because of human rights violations. There is something more valuable than the almighty dollar. But, they're not. And,
it's called
they need to be held.
And it works. You know what? It's called sports washing, and it works. Because guess what? Today there's reporting that the U.S. administration is actually thinking of putting the Khashoggi murder behind them in order to repair relationships with the Saudis. So amazing that it all happens at the same time. But, I mean, sports washing is a real thing, and this is a really good example of it.
I think
can I just say one
there's
other
practical... Well, I was just going to say there is a practical consideration here as someone who covers a lot of Hollywood, that I go, there's a long-term potential damaging to reputation, damaging to brand. And I wonder if these golfers are thinking about that, because certainly we've seen that with Disney. We watched this weekend. Top Gun did really well, in part because Paramount made the decision to back off appeasing China. And so I wonder if they think about the long-term damage to their brands that they could be doing with making these decisions. And I feel like,
with 200 million, they may not
does it matter for
sitting
sitting on, hundreds of millions of dollars, though, Megan?
I wonder
if
the American people
but I wonder if the American people on this particular issue in Saudi Arabia are really as connected to the issue as they are on China or Russia. I think those are a little bit easier for the American people to really connect to. I don't know if Saudi Arabia actually elicits that kind of response from the average person. So I do think it's on folks like us to actually shine a spotlight on it and make that case.
Well, and as Ashley said, though, it's a little hard to argue that the golfers are in the wrong when the White House is making a similar decision.
And let me just say, they are making the wrong decision here. I couldn't agree more. And I think, look, we know, for example, that Alberta, the province of Alberta in Canada, has made it very clear they're open for business. They're ready to supply the United States with oil. We need to be working with our allies. We need to be opening up our own energy reserves before we start, going with hat in hand to Saudi Arabia. I know times are incredibly tough, and it's $5 a gallon gas, but guess what? There are other alternatives besides Saudi Arabia. We need to, and our White House and our government need to make that stand if we expect the PGA to do it.
Better racing.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.